Welcome into Hand Raised Guys here on this Thursday evening. I'm Neal McCready. That is Chase Parham. We are brought to you each and every week by our friends at Comer Heating and Air, Southern Air Conditioning and Heating. Different names, same great people, products, and services. If you live in Oxford, Batesville, Tupelo, or the surrounding area, call Comer, 662-801-1777. If you live in Memphis, Hernando, South Haven, Olive Branch, those areas, call our friends at Southern, 662-429-4429. Chase, how are you?
Oh, I'm lovely. Just sorry, you said you were zoned out. I think
Yeah,
I was kind of out right there for a minute too.
I'm pretty zoned out right now. I'll snap back to it, but I'm a little zoned.
This Realtree hat is good. I like this one. I've got one for Neal too. Actually,
Oh,
bring it to him. Yeah,
okay.
I have.
I like that.
These are good. Yeah. Yeah. Between these and the buck hats last Saturday, I feel like we've had a good haul for them. Jeffrey, I think probably laid this on me a couple weeks ago when he mentioned that you take all the flack, but I have as much fear of the critters as you do, the snakes.
Oh, yes.
A little while ago today. So just making some phone calls. I have a fairly busy day. I was trying to book some podcasts, do some different things like that. Speaking of, like I said, we're done with podcasts, but I actually recorded one with Ben Craddock that'll be out tomorrow too on the network. And I was talking.
The network needs another podcast today.
You know what? I had a friend this morning text me and go, "Hey, I'm all out of MPW Digital content." I was like, "Give it 3 hours.
Yeah,
it's
give it a minute.
It's coming. We got stuff. It's plenty there. It'll keep you from now to kickoff, I think." But
I would hope.
Anyway, I
hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you're listening on podcast. Make sure you follow us. If you are on YouTube, please hit the follow button, the subscribe button, whatever button happens to be there. Hit the thumbs up button if you don't mind. That'd be great. We would appreciate it. It's free. We're closing in on 10,000 on YouTube. Getting there slowly, surely. Getting there. Help us one person at a time. If you have some friends, break into their
pick up their phones, go to YouTube,
and
just hit the subscribe button. You don't have to hit the bell.
No, you can turn the bell off.
I'd appreciate you hitting the bell, but you don't have to hit the bell. You don't have to.
We'll never know.
Also, do us a favor, follow us on Instagram and TikTok as well. Really, we have a team of people trying to get that going, get that organized. So I'd appreciate any movement in that area. So I was on the phone trying to book a podcast guest for Bourbon South for Tuesday because we were pivoting a little bit because the Kentucky Bourbon Trail is doing a big 25-year anniversary thing next Tuesday. So we were pivoting on what that episode was going to be and was trying to book a guest. And I was sort of mindlessly doing some laundry and some stuff like that in the bedroom. So I sat down on the bed for a second. And when I did that, I was on the phone, had headphones in, so I was just sitting there, felt something, reached down, and against my leg was a dead snake in the bed, on the bed.
Whoa.
I panicked.
Freaked
snake out
on the bed.
On the bed. Like baby, but cobra.
Oh, you know what they say about a baby?
Cobra. There's an adult somewhere too.
That's how that works.
Freaked the hell out.
I guess so.
I mean, I'm wearing a heart rate monitor right now. They probably saw something for a second. Like,
wow.
It was like sliming, and like I went, and I kind of grabbed it and went,
oh wow,
and just freaked out. Was like, I was talking to someone on the phone. I was like, I need a minute. Like, I'm sorry. I think they thought I was having a heart attack.
Wow.
Had to dispose of it. Baby anaconda, Siski. Yes, that is correct. Assuming that the cat or the dog brought it in, killed it outside and brought it in. But
is it a water rattle cobra?
Yeah, water rattler cobra. Yes, Grind, a real snake. Yeah, 100%. It wasn't a joke. It was a freaking snake.
Ain't nobody getting a treat in that house for a little while.
Well, if the cat did it thought it was doing something good. It brought you the prize.
It was wrong.
Well, it killed it.
You need to talk to it.
It didn't bring me a live snake.
That's true.
If we're going to bring me a snake, bring me a dead snake.
Well, there's no doubt about that.
And I'm not one of these people who goes, no, I want to know what kind it is first. No, kill it, and then we'll talk about it. I mean, dude, I haven't seen one in real life in a really long time because I go out of my way to avoid it. And I did not think picking one up was going to be.
Don't you go to the whirlpool trails?
Dude, I know. I just
Then you're not going out of your way to avoid them.
I just ignore it.
Well, that's not going out of your way to ignore them.
Because they're all around me all the time.
That's why I don't ever go there.
Do you not?
Never.
Because of that?
Yes.
But it's like shaded and it's bad on your knees. Like
I understand.
But there are water cobras. So
huge ones. Ready to strike at a moment's notice. Ready to take you out.
They've probably been right there in the trail and I just hadn't noticed it.
Oh, for sure.
Sunbathing.
Probably snapped at you and just missed with big fangs.
With big fangs.
Like hypodermic needles, just missed.
Probably be a problem, too, if you got bit by one that was pretty dangerous, like 4 miles down that trail.
I mean, you're screwed. It's all over. Night, ball game. That's why I run in the neighborhood. If I get bit in the middle of the street,
you can lay down somebody and find you.
Someone's going to help me, I think.
Yeah, I mean, my cat should take care of all of them. I mean, we've talked about this. House cats are freaking predators. Well, they kill everything.
These days, they got to be pretty defensive.
It's true.
I mean, it's a tough time to be a cat.
That's true. Whirlpool Trail's pretty shaded. A lot of areas they can just be hanging out in.
You think?
I mean, of all places.
Oh, you don't expect to find one on your bed. No.
Like I said, I'm sure the cat brought it in.
It's a safe bet.
Cat brought it because the cat had to be he would be the one animal on the bed too.
I mean, if cats have declared war on humans, one human at a time this week, I don't blame them. I get it. Been a lot of stuff in the headlines. A little nervous. He might have said, you know what? I heard my guy's got a heart issue. Here you go.
Oh, that's evil. SPD and MS3 says we used to kill water moccasins and leave them on the running trails in my neighborhood as a kid. That's serial killer behavior right there
rough.
now.
That's rough. That's pretty scary.
It's not ideal.
No.
Don't do that. Damn.
By the way, we're coming to you from the Clark Ford Studios. Clark Ford's in Amory, Mississippi. 662-257-1900 is the number. Call it. Ask for my buddy Corey Clark. Tell Corey what Ford product you're looking for. He'll send you a quote within 15 minutes.
It's a stupid question.
Hours. What's the question?
Which New York quarterback needs to win more, Aaron Rodgers or Daniel Jones? The Giants are going like 2-14, 2-15. It's Aaron Rodgers, for God's sake.
I don't know. Daniel Jones needs a win pretty bad.
Okay, and if he gets it, what happens?
He needs another one.
Okay, well, fair enough.
662-257-1900. Call that number and ask for Corey. He'll take care of you. They'll want to be your car guy. They want to be your truck guy. Again, 662-257-1900. Guest. Join on the Campbell Clinic Hotline. From fractures and sports injuries to complex spine and limb conditions, the pediatric orthopedic physicians at Campbell Clinic in Oxford are the only specialized pediatric orthopedic team in North Mississippi, providing expert care for growing bodies. Visit CampbellClinicOxford.com to schedule an appointment or call 901-759-3111. This is the Oxford. It's the Blue Sky Live on Friday,
whatever,
or one of the Blue Sky Live, whatever. Chase,
there's plenty.
What's happening at Blue Sky?
There's lots of podcasts, lots of Blue Skies, lots of things. Oxford Exxon going out of town, coming into town. Fill up on your weekend. Maybe you got some stuff going in Trade Park, wherever it is. Let them be your fuel stop along the way. Sweet Daddy's locations, lunch special options, plenty more. We've been giving stuff away at home football games. That stuff will return next weekend for Georgia Southern. They're at Vaught Hemingway for the continuation of the home schedule and more. So, yeah, Blue Sky locations all over the state of Mississippi, including here in Oxford. So, Teresa, is it Gould or Gold is the Pac-12 commissioner? You could have given me 1,000 guesses, and I couldn't have told you her.
I would have needed more than 1,000.
Would you have?
I would have needed.
We started with Jane Doe and worked our way from there.
I probably would have needed at least 10 million guesses, which would have been one hell of a long guessing game, at which point somebody would have just said, Neal, it's
a lot of word
Gold.
salad from the Pac-12 today about how monumental adding these 4 teams is to their conference. Well, you got to start somewhere.
It takes them from flatlining to at least having a hint of a pulse. So, I mean, that is fairly monumental.
It's true, but getting away from the flat line is job one.
If you thought the patient was completely dead and all of a sudden there's a blip, everybody gets pretty excited for a second.
Now, I will say this. They had more money than I thought. John Wilner from the Mercury News, who's been covering the hell out of this, so I'll take his word for it, says that with the exit fees and the penalties combined, the additions will cost the Pac-12 roughly $110 million. So, okay, that's about what we thought. That was what the Athletic announced this morning. But said they've got about 250 in the bank.
Now
If you got 250 million in the bank,
now they got 140 in the bank, but they've got new teams.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's a good start. That's more than I would have said had you told me how much do they have in the bank. Which tells me 10 teams left and they all paid 10 million.
Unless they have to
25 million apiece.
Unless they have to pay capital gains on that 100 million, at which point that's 25% of that. I mean, they're out. They're out another 30.
Probably
right
non-popular.
They're down to 90 million.
Probably got some status somewhere.
Been a hit.
Let's see. Said they don't think the next targets are in the Mountain West. Otherwise, they would have just taken them now. That they will take. Ross Dellinger says that most likely they will take teams from outside the conference at this point.
Yeah, there's some Memphis talk. There's some Tulane talk. There is some Cal and Stanford talk.
Maybe one of the Florida teams, USF, mentioned.
Huge school.
I'd rather have USF, Memphis, or Tulane than UTSA, North Texas, or Rice.
100%.
I don't think I would take Rice if you paid me to take them.
If you told me to take a team out of Texas that I was not already committed, I would go Texas State.
I would contemplate Texas
Big
State.
school, lots of students.
Yeah. You think you'd take Texas State over UTSA?
Probably.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think I'm with you.
Real big school.
Mm-hmm.
What's it like? Right in between Dallas and Houston, I think.
Is that where it is?
I think so.
San Marcos?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I don't know where it's located.
I could be completely wrong on that, by the way. So all you Texans, don't jump me. For some reason, that sounds right. But that might be, I can't remember. Where's Stephen F. Austin? That's in Nacogdoches. Where's Sam Houston?
But it's Natchitoches and it's not Nacogdoches, right? It's Natchitoches.
Because Natchitoches is Louisiana.
That's what I meant. Sorry. Well, that's in northwestern states in
Natchitoches.
Yeah, Louisiana.
Yes.
Who are you asking me about?
Stephen F. Austin, which is in Nacogdoches.
Oh, it is?
I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
And then where is Sam Houston?
I don't know. Not sure on that one.
Everybody says Texas State's a great college town. I would think.
Huntsville, Texas. I knew that. Yeah, Huntsville.
That's where Sam
Houston is in Huntsville.
Yeah.
Also reports that the AAC is now targeting teams as well off of this. Says that they are interested in pursuing Mountain West programs such as Air Force, and notes the Pac-12 may also look to Texas State, blah, 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 UNLV, blah, blah, blah.
UNLV be good for them.
As for the Mountain West, they're potentially looking at Charleston State, New Mexico State, and UTEP.
Oh, have fun with that. God.
Well, I mean, hell, Tarleton State's still in the WAC because that's Fuller Smith's team, who I interviewed a few months ago, because they won the WAC, but they weren't eligible for the postseason in baseball because they were doing the transition thing.
Got it. Still. You said nothing that changed my mind just then. I mean, they don't even blimp.
I'd rather have Tarleton because it's in the A&M system than I would New Mexico State.
Sure.
At least I got some money potentially down there somewhere. I mean, you go, hey, you know what? UTEP's going to fix this.
No, they're not. It's El Paso. And then
you have the Sun Bowl.
No, I just no interest in that. UNLV, it makes sense. I mean, they can hodgepodge something together and make it credible. If that's the goal, credible is probably the goal. Pull that off. Again, I go back to what I said this morning, which feels like 10 days ago. Who knows? Who knows where it's all headed? If there's a break, I know Tyler's in the stream. I know Tyler thinks there's a breakaway that's fairly imminent. I don't necessarily disagree. I'm not as certain as he is that it's coming like that, but he's not alone in that school of thought. So all of this might truly be immaterial in 24 months. I don't know.
Cal and Stanford only getting $11 million per team for the school year from the rights package.
So see, if you told me Cal and Stanford go, can we get out? And the ACC goes, yeah, peace. I'd buy it.
Okay, this is somewhat fascinating. It says Former Fox Sports president Bob Thompson weighed in today with the following. The Pac-12 jumps to the first in line on the collegiate TV deal front. For a number of reasons, their games will be of value to outlets. Wilner points to ESPN, Fox, the CW, and Turner as potential suitors alongside Amazon and Apple. After some back-of-the-napkin math, Wilner concludes an average of $10 million per school per year seemingly approaches the ceiling for the rebuilt Pac-12 unless the demand side of the marketplace changes substantially or the conference adds 2 schools to further enhance value. Streamers will kick the tires. CW will probably want to stay in the game. Questions on the minds of TV folks will be: Is this the NWC or Plus or Pac-12 Lite? But frankly, if you offered those teams $10 million a year, take it. That's more than I would have ever imagined.
Sure.
So okay.
Again,
They're in the right time zone to have a little bit of interest because you got to put something up there in the night.
And you have,
if they were in the Big Ten or SEC footprint, you're screwed.
You're screwed.
But you're out there. We'll play at 10:30 at night. It's fine.
You play on Thursday.
Yeah. You
got
to be open to
a
schedule that looks like hell. But
play a Wednesday night game. Bettors will bet it.
So they will turn it on for that.
They will.
Put that son of a gun on FS1 and let it ride.
And tell everybody, you want us to play on Thursday? We'll play on Thursday. You want us to play on Friday? We'll play on Friday. Sure. We'll play the late Saturday game. And there's lots of people that are looking for a game at 10 o'clock Central Time on Saturday nights. And if you're on the West Coast, which is where they are, say, we'll kick off at 8:30 Saturday night.
Oh, we'll do whatever you want.
We'll kick off at 8:30 our time, so 10:30 Central, 11:30 Eastern, and maybe we'll get some of the junkies in addition to the West Coast audience. Again, the goal is to have a pulse. The goal is not to go win the beauty contest. And I think that's important to note. It's not like the Big Ten and the SEC, which they really need to win some beauty contest. This is just stay alive.
Pitt is hitting the entire bingo when it comes to the search for its new AD. They've hired turnkey, and they have one of those internal search advisory committees because we know those always make all the calls and the decisions when they do such.
That's where I miss my calling. I should have just started a search committee.
Oh, I know the dude at turnkey is making bank. The firm is
because they put them all on retainer.
So they hired turnkey to do all that, and then they have an internal search committee, which includes Senior Associate AD for Major Gifts, Pat Bostic, men's basketball head coach Jeff Capel, former NFL All-Pro Aaron Donald, some CFO dude, some Associate AD, something, some trustee, and then somebody with some nonprofit. Okay, they're sure. Go do what you do.
I want to know who the Gurley concert is. G-Man's talking about.
I don't know.
I know, no answer.
Getting cliffhang there.
Hootie and the Blowfish are playing in North Carolina on Friday night. I think in Raleigh.
You can go see them again?
No, I'm not. I'm good.
How far is Raleigh from Winston-Salem?
Like an hour.
You should go.
I could, but I'm not.
You don't want to do it again?
I don't.
Was it good enough?
It was good.
Not an hour away good?
Nope.
Who's an hour away good?
Prince.
Outside of Prince. You named maybe the most popular person that could.
You asked a question, I answered it.
Okay. Taylor Swift?
Nah.
Coldplay?
Oh, I'd go see Coldplay.
Yeah.
I'd drive an hour to see Coldplay.
Okay.
I would.
No, I believe you.
Oh, excellent. Phenomenal in person.
Collective Soul?
No.
No.
Good, though.
Okay.
10 minutes? Sure. An hour? Nope.
10 minutes? Sure. I'd drive to Batesville. We knock out.
I'll drive to Water Valley.
Okay. Journey?
Oh, I'd go see Journey.
Okay.
That'd be pretty sentimental. Not, I don't know, nostalgic is the better word, not sentimental.
Foreigner?
Yeah, same.
Okay. Any from that era?
Yeah, as a kid, I saw Night Ranger, 38 Special.
Night Ranger?
I saw Night Ranger.
Really?
At the Monroe Civic Center. Yes.
See, I think I could only name 1 or 2 songs.
Either that or you in Coliseum, but I definitely saw him in Monroe. Sister Christian. Was that Night Ranger? Yeah.
Yeah, I saw the Vice Chancellor thing, but I didn't read through all that. I don't.
A lot of As Trump would say,
Yeah.
they ate the dogs.
Yeah, I didn't. I just kind of stopped.
And I don't know that they ate the dogs, but someone killed the dogs.
Yeah, I did not. I did not want to know, so I stopped. My day was better not knowing. I went, okay, I'm good. I logged the name and whatever in case it came up on the podcast, and that was enough for me. And we moved on with our day.
So there was a statement issued through the attorney.
Was there?
Yeah.
Saying inaccurate.
That she was not guilty of the charges.
Okay. Yeah.
Sure. That she was stepping down to not distract the university that she loves and that loves her, and while this process is ongoing.
Okay. Boston.
No.
Chicago.
I saw Chicago.
Have you?
Mm-hmm. They came to Tech, Louisiana Tech. I was in junior high school.
Were they popular yet?
Yeah.
They just kind of got like.
I don't know how Tech would sometimes get good concerts.
Were they really?
Mm-hmm. I saw Rick Springfield at Tech.
Were they like on the way somewhere? Like what was causing?
I don't know.
What was causing that?
But all the girls wanted to go see Rick Springfield, and I wanted to go where all the girls were. So there you go.
So you saw Rick Springfield?
I did. Saw him. Jesse's Girl is a banger now. I'm just gonna tell you. That's a good song. That comes on and you don't turn it. Everybody can act all cool, but if you're alone and Jesse's Girl comes on, you're like, yeah, I'm gonna sing along.
Everybody knows the beat. Yeah, everybody knows the deal.
Sing along with us a little bit.
Okay.
Rick Springfield was on. Was it General Hospital?
Is that true?
He was on a soap opera for a long time. I want to say it was General Hospital.
He did a guest spot on Californication. Is the only show that I've ever watched that he did a season of that. Yeah, I don't know. I would be curious to see what Ole Miss does with these pavilion concerts moving forward, because they really want to get into that like South Haven rotation, Tupelo rotation.
I'm shocked it's taken this long to kind of get it going.
Because I mean, in my mind, you could steal them from them. Like you have a better arena,
and all the college kids are right there.
They're here, like literally
20-something thousand right there. Yeah. I've never understood that.
Yeah.
And I know someone right now is screaming it's more complicated than you think.
And I'm sure it is.
And I'm like, I get it.
But it was 8 years between concerts. Brad Paisley to this one with Brett Young. Because Brad Paisley opened the pavilion, very first thing there.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. Oh, I totally forgot that.
Could have been a good trivia question for you. Would have struggled with that.
I would have struggled. But if you can get Brad Paisley, you can get a lot of people to come to the pavilion. I mean, he's a pretty big act. And you don't have to always hit home runs. You can just hit a bunch of triples. If you get enough college kids to show up.
Well, that's what Tupelo and South Haven do. Like, they just have a bunch of okay stuff, and then occasionally they pull Carrie Underwood or Kelly Clarkson or whoever, and you blow it up.
Sure. I mean, 100%.
I'd go see Hall & Oates.
I saw Hall & Oates in Memphis. They were great.
I'd go see Hall & Oates.
They're broken up now.
Oh, are they?
They split.
What'd they get mad about?
I don't know.
What happened?
I'm going to guess money.
Typically is the answer, isn't it?
But they were really good.
David Brand always used to make me laugh because he'd say when he was a kid, he thought it was Hall & Oates, like you're carrying them on your back. He thought that was the name of it.
But see, I'm an 80s kid, so Hall & Oates is like, that's
in your...
That's wheelhouse. They were great. And so, yeah, they came. It was the word is nostalgic. It was really
Quentin's exactly right.
Fun.
You just sit there and hit doubles over and over and over again, and the money 100%. Rolls in and
hit the ball into the gap, run into second base, and stand there.
As long as you can put 9,000 folks in there, I don't care what it is. It works.
Sure.
Because if the people are in the seats, it doesn't matter what the show is.
Well, and in a college town, I mean, you can do pop, you can do country, you can do
anything.
Rap, you can do almost anything and have an audience. You don't have to go. It doesn't have to be Taylor Swift.
Oh, God, no.
And you got, in a town like this, you got enough like older people that you can break out some of the classics and appeal to people's memories.
Tomorrow night in Tupelo at the Cadence Bank Arena, KC and the Sunshine Band.
See, there you go.
That's a double all day right there. That is a double all day long.
Just to softly hit double into the gap.
I bet they fill it up.
Sure.
And then their next one after that's Brantley Gilbert. It will sell. Country guy. It'll sell.
But that's the point, right?
Yeah. And then they run Disney on Ice for a little while. That'll sell too. Kids will come in, play on the high shrink.
100%.
I give Tupelo credit. They have that part figured out. They bring in the monster trucks. They bring in the Disney on Ice. They bring in some retro bands that were popular. that have some sentimentality.
They're comfortable in their own skin and they know who they are.
Yeah.
Hey, you guys, that's all right.
There's worse things.
Sure. Hit doubles.
Yeah.
It's a good way to put it.
We're not getting Bruno Mars. That's cool.
Yeah.
We'll make do.
Yeah.
And occasionally they do because
But you might get Bruno Mars 15 years from now.
Yeah. Well, and what happens is these promoters, they can rely on Tupelo for this regional, just pop, and then occasionally they get a bone. And occasionally you do. You go, I'll be damned.
Sure.
They pull that off. That's what happens.
And you might get some act. You might book some act that they book it, and then in the 6 months, in the meantime, they get hot.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. That single comes out,
Sure.
and suddenly you're already on the books, and you go, hey.
Sure. But in a college town like this, with this many young people, ages 18 to 23, yeah, sure. Come on.
It seems like a no-brainer. I mean, I don't know. I know nothing about that business, but
No, I'm sure there's someone screaming into the abyss right now, just cursing us. There will be some email, some DM with you politely telling us that we're made their life miserable, and you have no idea what you're talking about. At which point they'll be like, "But God dang it, they said they had no idea what they were talking about."
I don't know.
I'll be like, "Yeah, I know. Good luck to you."
I admitted I'm stupid. I'm just telling you what I would try to do.
I mean, I'd be willing to bet right now there is someone screaming at the computer.
Oh, that's a good point. If Hauling Oats is not a tribute band, it definitely should be.
It should be. They were good. The dude that played the saxophone for them had to be in his 70s, and he still had it.
I think I might agree with Sammy. A Journey cover band would even be a double or a triple.
That'd be pretty good.
You couldn't do it in the pavilion, but you could find a place where that would play for a night.
Put it in the Grove.
Yeah.
Of course, it'd be harder to charge admission in the Grove.
Well, yeah, the Grove, because like they've pulled in Goo Goo Dolls one year, but it's like it's like the back to school, whatever it's called, the advisory committee thing. I forget I forget the name.
Yeah.
They said South Haven had Smashing Pumpkins the other night.
That's a blast from the past a little bit. But no, it's good. But you could get, I don't know. I would think that would do well at Ole Miss. Maybe I'm wrong. You could get some of the same bands like they get up in Fayetteville, right? At the Amp in Rogers and Bentonville and all that stuff. You could get some of those same people.
Yeah. I mean, I guess.
I mean, they get pretty good acts. They got Hootie. I'd have to pull up the list.
Yeah, I mean, Goo Goo Dolls will after the run. I get it, but
so that's my point.
It's still played, though.
But you remember the run, so you might go watch.
Yeah, you weren't getting them in their heyday, but that's...
No.
Yeah.
I went to see Hootie not because Hootie's awesome today. I went to see him because it reminded me of a different time. It was fun. It was like taking a trip back.
Well, that's what you're... Probably takes like somebody like full time. You just hire somebody to do this. Like you basically hire a booker and go.
Yeah.
You're the new assistant AD of booking.
But you could book what, 20 nights a year?
Oh, 20 a year.
Is that about right?
1.5 a month, give or take.
Yeah, 18 a year. Could you book 18? Is that too?
I don't know. I'd have to look at other places.
12 a year, 1 a month.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not in that world.
I do. Tupelo makes a good point. I wonder if he's right. He says imitation bands are about done. In 30 years, no one will see an imitation One Direction. I don't know that because I was in college. You saw these tribute bands everywhere. We watched a ton of them. We had our favorites. I mean, you'd see.
That's just not my world. I don't know. I don't know anything about it.
Yeah, I think Marty Stewart was in the Railroad Festival a few years ago.
Oh, Leif says lots of the acts that play at the Amp also play in Branson.
Brandon.
So he says,
unless he meant Branson.
I think he meant Branson.
Okay.
Because from there to Branson's like 2 hours,
Yeah.
if that. I doubt he meant Brandon. I don't know where they'd play in Brandon. The high school. Brandon High School's got really nice facilities.
Do they?
That's the extent I can tell you about Brandon.
That's all you got.
They have very nice high school football stadium that converts to soccer very well.
Is that a call on the thing, or is that you?
That's
Okay.
I could ask Gabe if he'd like to call in.
Ask him if he'd like to see a tribute band.
We are podcasting.
Feel free to chat if you would
Feel
like.
free to call in.
No, he said the Brandon Amphitheater gets really big acts.
Oh, really? How about that? There
That's
you
what
go.
Leif said. I don't know.
I've often wondered what would happen if you built an amphitheater in Oxford.
Wasn't that like in one of the?
Would it be big enough to make it work?
I don't know. Brandon Amphitheater Theater. Yeah, he's right. I mean, Sturgill Simpson. Here's one: Creed, Daughtry, and Finger 11.
Oh,
There's a trio.
Finger 11 had a couple of bangers.
Daughtry would have his American Idol set.
Yeah.
Dwight Yoakam coming to Brandon.
Yeah, I'm kind of starting to think maybe there was a missed opportunity up here. I'm totally serious at this moment.
You're hearing enough bands to go, okay.
Well, you could get people to go to that. Again, you have 20,000 college kids right there. Like, literally right there. Kind of feels like a missed opportunity.
Can you do it during basketball season because of the in and out and changing the venue for the different things?
I would think. Professional arenas do it all the time. Yeah. I mean, like the Thunder will play.
You see the time-lapse videos where they do the thing.
Pull seats back and pull things in and boom. And I'm sure it's more complicated than it looks, but it is done routine. Like New Orleans Arena, the Pelicans will play one night and then somebody else plays another night, the next night.
Brandon had 3 Doors Down recently. Somebody saw Willie in Brandon. Randy Travis back in the day.
3 Doors Down's good. It's pretty cool.
Aren't they from Mississippi?
I don't know. I mean, if you tell me they are, I mean, a lot of acts are from Mississippi. Mississippi produces a lot of artists.
Am I wrong on that? Maybe I am.
I cannot.
My music trivia is not good.
I cannot tell you that you are right or wrong. This is not my
area.
It's not something I can tell you.
Yeah, I may be completely wrong. Yeah, I'm right. Their origin is in Mississippi.
There you go. I bet they'd come to the pavilion.
Yeah, the coast, just outside Pascagoula.
Okay. Good for you. How about that?
We've hit home runs on that lately between James Earl Jones and Morgan Freeman pulling all these natives out.
Mississippi's produced a lot of artists.
Message board wanted us to point out that prior to his death, Vin Scully might have been one of the most known names.
Yeah, we missed that one.
Voices in the world.
That was a
fail.
An error.
Yeah.
Definitely one of the
sports fans though. I mean, random human. They're not going to know his voice as much as you're going to Morgan Freeman's.
No. But like sports voices, he's way at the top. It's him. Howard Cosell.
Yeah, because I mean, I'm too young to know him, but I know it.
Al Michaels.
Would most people, though, younger than me, be able to sort between like Buck, Nance, Michaels, if you just heard their voices?
Brenneman. We could see Brenneman. I'll get to talk to Brenneman maybe this week.
Oh, he's doing the game, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, Banks told me that. He's doing the game.
I'm going to walk past Tom Brenneman and just want to go Castellanos. And there's a drive to left from Castellanos, and it's a 4-0 game.
Now, come on, because the other day you told me you were really glad he was getting a second opportunity, and he is revitalizing his career on the CW.
I think he's paid his price. All seriousness. He made a terrible mistake, but my God, he shouldn't pay for it forever.
No.
He didn't kill anyone.
No.
And it wasn't intentional. He wasn't knowingly saying something on the air, knowing that it would hurt feelings. He thought he was on a dead, which is a stupid thing, but he thought he was on a dead mic.
Different places. Okay, Rebels. He says 3 doors down and Creed are both playing in Biloxi the same night as the Georgia game. I guess like 2 different casinos, maybe.
I guess.
Yeah. Said Willie Nelson did the Brandon Amphitheater last year.
Oh, wow. Good for Brandon, man.
That's a hell of an accomplishment.
That is.
Yeah.
I do like outdoor concerts like that. It's fun.
Oh, yeah.
Like before it started storming that night in Rogers, that was a lot of fun.
But it rained at the end of it.
It rained at the end. We were fine. We were covered. The people that weren't covered got soaked.
Oh, comedy shows. I'm not up on those as much, so I can't really answer, but I guess that does make sense. Putting comedy shows.
In the pavilion?
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, what's the difference?
Can you get that kind of crowd?
I don't know. I mean, you might not fill it up, but you might not need to. I mean, it's not like you have to have 9,000 to leave the lights on.
Because it feels like those are more like Ford Center sort of things.
And maybe so.
Yeah.
Well, even so, put them there. I mean, it's still campus. I mean, hell, I don't know.
Like your girl was at the Ford Center the other day.
Who?
You had her on the podcast.
Oh, Heather McMahon?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, really? That's how we go there. I mean, yes. I knew people who knew her, and she said yes because it was during COVID and she didn't have shit else to do. So, sure. Okay.
Laura went to that. She said she was kind of crude.
She did make me laugh, saying that there was when she saw a picture of Joe Paterno, she thought it was her the grandfather of her fiance because she didn't know anything about sports. So it was a family member. Hope you feel better, Austin. Thank you for entertaining him while he was sick today. I mean, if you're going to be sick on a day, today was a pretty good day, though. You could just kind of hang out and...
Hold on. I'm trying to get to you, caller. Hold on. Why is this button not working? Caller, hang tight. I'm going to try to get back to you. I might have to reset this thing because it won't. See this button right here? Normally turns it where it gives me options, and it's not giving me options this time. So let me try that again. It's making sounds. I tested it before, but sometimes.
Technology, just, got to restart it, plug it back in.
Had to do that with the TV today. It was not working. Unplugged, replugged. Everything was great. Lots of content up on the network, by the way, as Chase referenced. If you want your football fix, you can get Pete, McCready, and Siski made our picks. Butcher versus the dance instructor is up. There's a Mind on My Money that is up by now. And our talk this morning with Jeffrey Wright is up as well. So lots and lots of content on MPW Digital. And then what's the plan for Saturday?
So Saturday we are going to go live during the game. I will assume my guess is probably a few minutes before kickoff. I mean, nothing crazy, 5-10 minutes. Jeffrey has said yes. Siski has said yes. Brian has said yes. I do not know if everyone is staying throughout. I'm not going to require that, obviously, of people that are giving me their level of time for that. I know Jeffrey said he was at least would get out of there to put Josephine down and then come back. And then what we'll do is, just to give me a minute, I'll probably put the welcome screen up at halftime. So we'll take that 10-15 minutes off. Leave it up, though. I mean, the stream will continue running. I'm not going to close it. And then we will, at that juncture, come back, finish the game. And I don't know. I haven't decided if I'm going to kill that stream and then come back with a post-game show with a new stream, or just keep it running and go all the way through. A normal length post-game show will not be on there for 4 or 5 hours after the game, too, considering it went on there during the game. But we will do. You okay with her? Not sure.
Maybe it was working.
Okay. We'll do a post-game show. We'll talk to Neal whenever he's done with his stuff. Again, everybody's hanging out with us, and you never know, maybe somebody too. I mean, I got a couple days to think of somebody else to call in to figure.
Hey, I was calling you back. I couldn't get you connected. Who is this?
Matt.
Hey, Matt. What's up? Sorry about that. My
And Brandon.
Hey, Matt and Brandon, we had to reset the iPad there. How are you?
I'm good. That's understandable. I got a question. Football. All right. Henry Parrish has gone from Ole Miss to Miami back to Ole Miss. Is this he's following Kevin Smith because that's the only way he can play? Or is he good? Any good, actually?
No, he's a good player. I mean, Kevin Smith, that relationship's part of it. Obviously, when Quinshon Judkins left, Ole Miss felt like they had to go get running backs, and that was one that they were obviously familiar with, and that there wouldn't be as much acclamation, and they sort of knew what they would be getting. And I think Henry had expressed an interest in going someplace after a couple of years in Miami, and so it fit. But yeah, he's a good back. He's not a great back, but I mean, he had a hell of a day on Saturday against Middle Tennessee. But he knows their system. He knows what they want him to do. So that was an easy transition that they could count on, I suppose.
So Rashad Amos not playing, is that just him not knowing the offense at all?
I mean,
he seems at least behind the first two.
Supposed to be a good back.
Well, I mean, here's that thing, right? You can be a good back at Miami of Ohio, and that doesn't mean you're a good back in the SEC.
Yeah, but let's remember Isaiah Woodard even had a 500-yard season here. I mean, running back by committee works, but a power back something we're going to need down the road.
Just you got to remember, this is year 4 of Kiffin non-COVID. They don't do tons and tons of rotations on offense. They just don't. I mean, they can talk about committee all they want. There is nothing in their history here that indicates that they're going to rotate the carries between 3 backs evenly. Nothing. It's never happened. And so it's like the wide receiver thing where everybody gets, we've got these 10 deep wide receivers. We're going to be super fresh and all. I mean, you have depth, but they're going to play the same 4 dudes the entire game. They always have.
Somebody will sprain an ankle at some point, and you'll bring somebody in there and give it a shot. I mean, I think.
But they're not shuffling 8 receivers through a game and giving them equal reps.
I won't be shocked to see Amos get some between the tackles see what it looks like, because it was kind of uneven against Furman on those couple carries, and I don't think that was even gradable, because that was a Furman team down 65 points that was tired and small, and I don't even know how to put a translation on that, frankly.
There's not one.
Yeah, you would need to see at least this week and maybe next week on even kind of how that even looks to figure out what you do for conference play. But I mean, look, Saturday, in my opinion, was even a little uneven in general, because there was some message sending. There was trying to get Parrish really involved, to where I don't even think the rotation can be judged on last Saturday, because I think there were several things he was trying to accomplish other than figuring out what backs could get what carries, because that wasn't the point.
Yeah, he was trying to light a fire under Ulysses Bentley.
And that's only going to happen with Parrish, because Bentley is not intimidated by Rashad Amos.
Right.
Not saying it's about Parrish either, but that is another D1 back. SEC back, whatever.
Yeah.
Get the point. I guess Amos is technically a
Power
D1.
4 back.
Autonomy 4.
Is that what we're calling it? Autonomy.
That's what Eric Wood told me. Yeah,
okay.
It's A4, which I thought assumed automatic 4, but it doesn't. It means autonomy 4.
Nothing against
4.
Eric, but that's never going to catch on. I said. I didn't.
He said A4, and I said, what's that? And I said, automatic 4, and he goes, well, that would make sense. But no, it is autonomous 4, autonomy 4, or something.
Automatic 4 might catch. Autonomous 4 will
Well, it's not
catch.
technically automatic, because if you're ranked, you got to be the 4 highest conference champions. There's no guarantee. I mean, some group of 5 team could technically be a higher ranked conference champion.
Sure.
I mean, if Utah wins the Big 12, it's 8-4. Undefeated Memphis would be higher.
Sure.
Just saying.
I'm just talking about what might catch on and what won't, and that won't.
You give it no shot?
0.
It doesn't roll off the tongue very well.
It's not autonomous.
Sorry, go ahead.
Or automatic.
How's the amphitheater in Brandon?
All right. Well, that's all I had.
Hey, hold on.
Stay.
How's the amphitheater?
Oh, dude, it's awesome. Have you not been?
No.
We just learned about it like 20 minutes ago.
I didn't know it existed.
Oh, that is probably the best. That's a better spot than Vaught Hemingway to go see a concert, if you're being honest.
Oh, I can see that.
So how many does it hold?
I mean, I know I mean, oh, I'm not sure on it, but it's there's not a bad view in it from when the times I've been, and it's an amphitheater, so you can hear great. And it's nice. I mean, and it's not super hard to get in and out of. So
I'm seeing pictures. It looks really cool.
10,000 probably.
I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out. The whole thing is it's the centerpiece of the Quarry, a 250-acre park.
Oh,
4 or 5 years ago,
built it 4 or 5 years ago.
and
Is that right?
was amazing.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it was awesome.
Yeah, I'd like to check that out. That's cool. Feels like that was a missed.
Yeah, that's something if you get a chance. That's something if you get a chance to go do, definitely. And they get a lot of really, really good acts coming through. I mean, Bert Kreischer was here. I mean, I'm not a huge fan, but Bert Kreischer was here about a month or two back. I mean, they always have, comedians and concerts coming through. So it's really
8,300.
Cool.
8,300. That's perfect.
It's a good size.
Yeah, it's nice.
Mm-hmm. No, it looks really good. Thanks. I mean, I'm sold.
Oh, definitely. Appreciate y'all and all the content.
Oh,
Right.
thank you very
thank you.
much. Thank
Appreciate
you. Bye-bye.
All right.
$8,300. They could have done that in Oxford. That was a mistake.
Feels like it would work. I mean,
Yeah. For sure.
I thought, was there not some small amphitheater that was part of a plan here at one point?
No, I don't know.
I feel like.
Hey, caller, who do we have?
Neal.
What's up, Jarrett? How are you?
Doing good, man. Just hanging out not too far from you guys in Oxford this evening.
Oh, okay. Well, you picked a rainy night to be here, but welcome to Oxford.
Yeah, well, the Circuit Court of DeSoto County, Mississippi is the one that picked when I was going to be here. So it wasn't up to me. Yeah. Chase, I was actually in court with an acquaintance of yours this morning, or this afternoon, I guess, rather, that works for a farm equipment company.
Okay.
But before I get to the hard-hitting Air Force football questions that I know everyone is excited to hear, question for you guys. So how much do you unpack when you get to a hotel room? Does it depend on the duration of the stay, or are you unpacking fully no matter what, or what's the deal?
I feel like they're one of two thoughts on this, and it varies wildly. But I'm one of the few people in the middle that if it's just like 1 or 2 days, I will kind of live out of my bag other than things that have to be moved. But anything more than that, and I feel like I have to put it away in the drawers and actually get home a little bit at that point. But like one night, I don't care.
If it's one night, I don't. If it's 2 nights, I'm sort of in the middle. Anything more than 2 nights, I will completely unpack.
Yeah, I'm totally with you. So like, I drove up and stayed in South Haven last night, got in late, didn't unpack, and then went to court this morning, and then I'm staying here tonight and Friday, and then going to Grenada for drill this weekend, and I completely unpacked as soon as I got to the hotel today, especially because I'm going to be here working from the hotel room all day today or tomorrow. So I was like, I got to put all my stuff away. But some people were like, man, you're weird. Like, why would you unpack just to leave in, a couple of days or whatever?
And if it's clothes that need to be hung, I will hang them.
Yeah, I'll do that immediately.
Yeah.
And typically, if it's somewhere where I'm not flying and I'm just driving, I'll never unhang them. I will have them hung in the car and take them straight in and hung back up. I think I did completely unpack in Baton Rouge for baseball, which was just 2 nights. But typically, even 2 nights, I don't always do it. Anything longer than that, we're going to completely use all the drawers and everything and clear the bag.
Having the suitcases laying around in the room drives me.
Oh, that probably would drive me
insane. I will lose
tripping over them, walking in the room and stuff.
And the towels everywhere. I'm like, hang your towel up, be neat. Yeah, I'm much neater in that setting than most people.
Yeah, living in a hotel room for 8 months last year definitely forced me to like be. I mean, I was already pretty neat, to be even neater than I was before.
I think you
Anywho,
rest
so, okay,
better,
so
honestly. I
have-
think there's like something that's calming about it once you actually do it. You don't feel cluttered. You don't feel as claustrophobic.
100%. I absolutely do. Oh, and hey, Chase, by the way, that the Three Doors Down and Creed are playing together at the Coliseum.
Oh, it's together.
It's not separate.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And at the Coliseum, not even in just like the Hard Rock.
Yeah, it's at the Coliseum, which is a pretty cool place to go to a concert, especially you get the VIP tickets. Like a buddy of mine is on the board for the Coliseum, and so we got like VIP tickets to see Alan Jackson, where you have like a private area to use the bathroom and the bar and really good seats and stuff like that. And it's a pretty good deal. I was actually going to buy tickets, until you said a minute ago that it was on the night of the Georgia game. I did not realize that, so I'm glad I didn't buy them.
Probably poor luck for the venue. Just have a hunch.
Yeah, I mean the coast, like there's a.
Well,
I
can tell you by our demographics, it is a foreign country.
Yes,
it is not one of our 8 locations. A lot of times.
How do you guys do on the coast? I'd like to talk about how we do in Jackson and Memphis.
Yeah,
frankly.
let me tell you about Nashville. Hey, hold on a minute. Let's go over Nashville.
Let's talk about Atlanta for a while. What about the
that,
coast?
Is that why you didn't ever? Is that why you never texted me back about McCready and Siskey, Neal?
You know what? I forgot actually to look into those. But as a rule, we just don't do well down there. It's just not a lot of.
Yeah.
It's not Ole Miss centric. It's just not. It's not.
No, it's not.
We do more in Starkville and the Golden Triangle, and I'm not even being funny. It's just true.
We actually do more in Mobile than we do on the Mississippi Gulf Coast.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. It was like, how long did I do those advertisements on Mine on My Money, Neal? Like 6 months, something like that?
Something like that.
Yeah, I never got one call from that. No offense to you guys. But anyway, so I have a thought about service academies in general and like the kind of new era of college football that we talk about all the time, right? And I have a theory, and I want to see what you guys think. So I don't think it's up for debate that service academies, even against other group of 5 teams, are almost always at a talent disadvantage. Would we agree on that?
I mean, within reason, yeah.
Yeah. It varies from year to year, right? But generally speaking, and I'd say they make up for that with discipline, scheme, right? People aren't ready for the option. They don't commit a lot of penalties. Blah 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 blah. And so, I think what we're seeing with the group of 5 and the transfer portal, like everyone, coaches included, like guys like Kane Womack, and the players are all going to the bigger schools at a higher rate than they were. So I think you might see the academies are kind of like outside all of that, right? Like I think Air Force had one guy leave in the transfer portal last year. Obviously nobody's coming in, but so I think you may see their talent level kind of stay the same, and some of the group of 5 teams they play go down some, and so that gap is smaller. So you may see more success there. Now, you're going to come back and nobody's going to notice. But in 4 months, you're going to look at Air Force having a terrible year this year because the offense is just garbage. Because there's 10 guys that are new starters on offense, and it looks really bad. But I mean, what do you guys think about that theory?
I don't know. I don't know enough about it to even guess how those schools recruit or what they try to do or what they're. And I would guess it's dramatically changed over the last 24 months, like with the transfer portal. And I don't know how the rules apply to the portal with the commitment to all that. I don't know enough about it, Jared, to even make a quasi-educated guess. I have no clue.
You brought something up, and I don't know if you guys would ever know this, but what was the guy that transferred from Navy? What was his name? That was a safety.
Oh, what was his name?
To Ole Miss.
Yeah, I don't remember the top of my head, but I know I remember what you're talking about, and yes, I do recall that.
Yeah, and like I always wondered because I think he was like a junior, right? I think.
Yeah,
Jacob
Navy
Springer.
when he transferred.
Jacob Springer. He'd been there for a couple of years, and
That's right.
I remember asking him something about the commitment stuff, and he gave me an answer, and I don't recall it. I know that Air Force, I think, and maybe Navy, maybe Army. I can't remember. A couple of them have recruited a couple of local kids here in the last 12 months or so, and I don't know that it's gotten serious enough for me to even like. Not that they would tell me, but I haven't asked like, well, how's that work? Or I just don't know.
Yeah, because the commitment starts the first day of your junior year. So like they would have to release them from that if they were later than then when they transferred.
Okay.
So that's what always had me wondering about Prince. So anyway, yeah, we'll see you guys, and always enjoying the show, and keep up the good work, Neal. You're a trooper for going to Winston-Salem this weekend, man. I don't know if that's really necessary.
Well, it's one of those things where Chase and I talked about this. There's just no way to sort of please everyone. I mean, I could stay here and it would probably be fine in case, but in the event that something happened and there was news and we weren't there to report it, we'd get beat up. No question. I mean, I've seen it, so I know how that works.
Yeah. Hey, Chase, is the stream on the game Saturday, is that going to be, will you be able to watch that like after the fact? Because I'll be at work all day and I'd love to
Yeah, I mean, it's like anything else. I mean, it's like any of our podcasts that are live. As soon as it's over, it's theoretically. Now, you can't back up while we're live, but as soon as we end the stream, you can watch it from the beginning in totality.
Right. Yeah. So I guess if you make it one total stream, I'd have to wait until the end of the post game show.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. Good deal, guys. Well, Neal, safe travels.
Thank you.
We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you very much.
See you guys.
Tyler says in the stream that the academies can take grad transfers, but the only academy type school doing it right now is the Citadel.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Makes sense. There's a culture type of person that you have there. And
yeah, sure.
You're not just grabbing kids. I wouldn't think. I wouldn't think that would work, really.
It would not be beneficial to your overall deal, would it?
Given that, there's a bigger purpose there than winning football games.
Oh, okay. And I'm seeing in the streams people saying if you're on a laptop, you can back up. It's for whatever reason on the phone, you can't.
Oh, so okay.
I did not know that, but okay.
Josh Allen wearing a rope hat. I don't like that at all. You like rope hats?
I mean, I have one on right now.
Oh, I can't even tell that yours is a rope hat. His is a different color.
Oh, yeah, because it's just black.
Yeah, I wouldn't have even seen it.
So what time's this game? 7:15?
Yeah, some 7. No, I don't know, something like that. That's the time it is now. 7:17 Eastern, 6:17 Central.
Okay, so we're just under an hour from it.
Yeah.
They're projecting Josh Allen to have 21 fantasy points tonight.
Oh.
I feel like, I mean, maybe there's more people than ever.
What's a good quarterback number?
I mean, you definitely want them in the 20s on standard scoring. 2 NCAA games at 6:30. Who are they?
Arizona State at Texas State is one, and then I don't know who the other one is. The Arizona State Texas State game's like a pick 'em.
So it's close.
Well, pick 'em means that they're expecting a
Well, we like
game.
NCAA tournament games. They're competitive, not always good.
Texas State was really, really good last week against UTSA, and Arizona State was pretty solid against Mississippi State for about 3 quarters.
That running back had a day.
He did have a day.
Not seeing much on the ESPN machine. Dolphins favored by 2.5 tonight. Over under 48.5. Money line favoring the Bills at plus 120. So pretty even, not much.
Actually, it looks like clearing skies outside.
Yeah, it was getting out of the way.
That was some serious rain today.
Just all day.
I had to flush the swimming pool twice in one afternoon.
Did you really?
That's pretty rare. I mean, it's happened before, but it has to be flooding for that to happen.
What's the bigger upset, Notre Dame to NIU or ULM to Alabama?
Oh, it's Notre Dame. ULM beating Alabama was not an upset. Just two Titans going up against each other, and one has to win, one has to lose. I mean, beat them by a touchdown.
Says he's on the Dolphins tonight, he says.
I mean, ULM produced Bubby Brister. You know what I mean? I mean, that's a big-time NFL quarterback. Pittsburgh Steeler, Bubby Brister. I mean, who's Alabama produced at quarterback?
No names that even pop in my head at all,
there you
right?
go. You think quarterback, you think Bubby Brister. There he is.
No one playing tonight. No one elsewhere on the weekend.
No.
No clue.
No.
Now, like the last 10 years, you'd have a hell of a point.
The
right
kid
now.
tonight for the Dolphins, his brother plays at Maryland. Yeah. So pretty big success story for him. Got overshadowed by his little brother, yet he still made it to the league. Good for him.
Little engine that could.
Yeah, just keep on trying.
Decided to move from Hawaii to Tuscaloosa because that's what people do.
Happens all the time. All the time. People say, you know what? Let's pick up and start anew in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Actually, they moved to Alabaster, Alabama. Because everybody does.
Who we got?
I don't know. Let's find out. Hey, who do we have? Hey, caller, who do we have? They're connected. They just don't know it.
Oh, really?
Yep. They're connected and don't know it.
Hello.
Maybe it's Shannon Sharp.
That's what it is.
I wasn't aware of that until McCready and Siskey today. Tyler filled me in.
Did y'all discuss that today?
We did. Tyler thinks it was likely intentional because it takes a handful of things.
I would agree.
To go to Instagram Live.
Yeah. It's not just one. I agree. A&M has one of the longest losing streaks on the road in FBS, 10 straight road losses.
Oh. Hey, caller, who do we have?
They're a 4-point favorite at Florida on Saturday. Go ahead, caller. 2.
It's
3,
it's his or her device.
4, 5, 6.
Let me try this one. Caller, you there? Nope.
8, 9.
It's delay.
I've probably mentioned this. It's one of my favorite,
if you call in, turn away. You got to get away from your video feed because you're
going to hear it twice.
You're on a 15 to 20 second delay.
You know, probably told this over the years, but it was Kentucky. Their radio guy, and at least it wasn't football because you had a lot more people listening. I mean, even though it's sports fans and whatnot, we were in the Kentucky baseball press box at the old stadium, and everybody's in one thing. It was that old Cliff Hagan Park where literally the media and the PA guy, the radio people, everybody's in one big long row, and Ole Miss is beating them, probably about to sweep them or whatever because they were really bad. And so like the 7th inning, between innings, and their radio guy just starts throwing a tantrum about how crappy they are and shitty they are. He was hot the whole time on the mic.
No.
Whole thing went out where he's just bashing the Wildcats or whatever. And he starts figuring out and just goes white. I mean, goes sick, and they're like calling him, and he's it was. And we were able to sit there and just watch it in real time. Just turn.
It wasn't wrong, right? They were pretty bad.
They were shitty. Yeah, they were awful.
All right, call. Let's try again. You there?
Yeah, I can hear you on my end now, Neal.
Okay,
we can hear you too.
Yeah, we hear you too.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I put in the chat about the Notre Dame NIU versus Alabama, Louisiana Monroe, because I live in Northeast Indiana, and I got a Notre Dame podcast, and it's been melting down for the most part. The fans are freaking out, and
sure,
a lot of the chatter is that Marcus Freeman might pull Riley Leonard, and then Brady Quinn had some comments today, which is very contradictory in my opinion. But the first thing with the if he pulls Riley Leonard, I'm just curious on how much you guys would think that would disrupt team chemistry, because that feels like that's a very, very toxic decision on top of being a very permanent decision.
Yeah, I would have that would tell me that Marcus Freeman is panicking and losing control of his program, because they went out and got Riley Leonard. They spent the offseason with Riley Leonard. They go into the season with Riley Leonard. They go to Texas A&M and they win with Riley Leonard. And then you lose to Northern Illinois, and now you're ready to pull Riley Leonard? That tells me that you have absolutely no command over your program whatsoever.
Panic move of all panic moves.
It would make me go whatever the over under on wins is. It would make me go under super fast, because the message that sends throughout your locker room is that you have no freaking idea what you're doing. You're completely in over your head, and that all you have is the one card that you played at the beginning of the year, which is we're going to be super emotional and run through an effing wall, which you cannot do week in and week out. You just can't.
Yeah, and one of the things that I was critical of when it came to them getting Riley Leonard, did anybody even think to make him take a physical before they paid him? Because to me, he doesn't look like he's healthy. If you watch him play at Duke and then watch him play at Notre Dame, he doesn't look like the same player. To me, he looks stiff, like he's not 100% healthy. And then I believe he hurt his non-throwing shoulder last weekend. The Marcus Freeman came out in the press conference and kind of downplayed it to a certain extent, but I don't think he's 100% healthy. And then they go out and they pay him $1.2 million, and then if the coaching staff's sitting there having serious conversations on whether they're going to pull this guy, I just, to me, Marcus gets, the beat writers around him don't ask him a lot of tough questions. They all want to keep it like it's a rah-rah, like a big family up there. It's like a big cowpoke. Everybody's up there having a good time. It's a dog and pony show. I get it. But at the end of the day, you're paying two coordinators $5 million, and you just got beat by a MAC school at home.
Tyler says in the stream that they do perform physicals, which is what I would have guessed, even at the college level. But yeah, they do physicals before they pay them. I mean, look, there's a thing called fit, and sometimes guys don't fit. And then there's a criticism of Freeman that's out there in the field, that he's not a great X and O coach, that he's not a good schematics coach, and I don't know enough about that. I've never been to South Bend. I don't know enough about the dynamic. I know nothing about the beat at all, so I can't comment on that in any shape, form, or fashion. But I don't know. I mean, yeah, they got beat. They got beat in a game that they couldn't lose. I mean, they go from being a playoff lock to that will be an almost impossible loss to overcome. I mean, they need Northern Illinois to go 12-0. That's like they need Northern Illinois to roll through the MAC, and that would if they go 11-1, then maybe, but they're probably toast. And so and welcome to this era of college football, when if you're toast on September the 10th, it's going to be rough if your expectation was to make the playoff.
Oh, right. In the second question that I had was not really a question, a statement. Brady Quinn did an interview today on another podcast, and he's involved in their NIL, and he to me doubled down. He made the comment of, we got to recruit Notre Dame guys. We need Notre Dame guys at Notre Dame. And it's like, okay, that's great.
What does that even mean?
What is a Notre Dame guy?
What does that mean?
Exactly. It was a lot of talking in circles.
Sort of like a Michigan man.
You know,
he's like, well, you got to get guys.
It's total horseshit. I mean, what you need at Notre Dame is you need really good football players. You need the same thing that you need at Alabama, at Georgia, at Ohio State, at Ole Miss, at Texas, at pick your school. You need good football players. You need as many of them as you can, and then you need a really good structure and culture that allows those players to have cohesiveness and to play well on a given Saturday when you know that you're Notre Dame, you're the biggest game on a lot of people's schedules, right? That's just the way it's going to be. You have your own TV contract, you wear the gold helmet, you Rudy, the whole deal. You're going to be a big game to people. You're going to have the type of culture that guys are tough and they're ready to play, and they weren't. And you can come up with all the excuses in the world, but it happens. Notre Dame hasn't been a dominant program in a long time, frankly. And so, I don't know, it's probably hard for the Brady Quinns of the world to accept. But in this era, you're going to have to win. You're going to have a really solid NIL package, and you're going to have people who can evaluate and recruit and know how to put a team and a program together. And that's a lot.
And I guess the one comment that stuck out to me is he kind of took a huge shot at Marcus Freeman getting kids out of the portal. He said, we're the University of Notre Dame, and we just don't want to hand out degrees to anybody. And I'm like, what does that even mean? That doesn't make – and to me, it's if that's what it's going to be, just get rid of the TV contract and go play in the Ivy League at that point. Because
it's justifying your crap of a loss. It's so dumb. I mean – because it's like the first line. It's the 5 stages of the losing and the coach who's in trouble to some degree. Is you lose the game and then you tout your academic, and we just don't take guys like they do. I mean, you're pulling a Dabo in a different way, and you want to go, okay, enjoy your 8-4 season, then, boss.
That's exactly what it is. It's Dabo. Yeah.
No. We're better than that. We take a higher class individual than those teams that beat us. That's just not us.
It's the ones that are like, we're not going to put the company name on the field. Our brand is so big that we're
good point. Riley Leonard came from freaking Duke.
Yeah.
Wasn't from Texas State. No offense to the Bobcats. I mean,
it's and I've dealt with some of the people on the colon that is the Twitter space, and it's just wild to me that it's like a big pivot game. It's like one of those flow circle triangles. Like if you were a major college football program, in 3 years you've lost a home game to a Sun Belt team. Not to dig on the Sun Belt too much, but a Sun Belt team and a MAC school. If you are a Power 5 in the same tenure with the same coach. And, a lot of people want to make excuses for Marcus, but you got $5 million worth of coordinators. You're not calling the defense and you're not calling the offense. So what the hell are you doing?
Incredibly fair. Because, I mean, when you start making decisions like this, it's who you are. He's wearing a rope hat.
Yeah, he is.
And I guess in closing, I don't think pulling the quarterback, I don't think it's not. I don't know.
Turkey legs.
It's a little bit of it. A little bit of blame is on Riley a little bit, but I think a lot of the blame is on the offensive play calling and the execution. I mean, there's 112 quarterbacks in Division I college football with touchdown passes, and he's not one of them. He's got more interceptions than touchdowns. So
sometimes people aren't good fits places, but yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I think he's a quarterback. I think it's scheme. I think it's probably overall demeanor of that program right now. And it's crazy what a week or 10 days, because they mask it so much in that opener with a win. They won the game. They looked like they were having fun. They looked locked in. Like their body language was really good against A&M that night.
But you got to be consistent.
And then they get home and
it happens.
Here you go.
And also another fun stat that I was told that didn't matter. They're 5 of 27 on third down. I think that's an issue.
Sure. Definitely.
They've converted 5 five third downs in 2 games, and no touchdown passes, and then Jeremiah Love, the dynamic running back, only gets 1 touch in the second half, and then I've been telling people this. Notre Dame fans don't, which I don't think you guys have a big fan base of Notre Dame, but I told him, I said, running the quarterback is not sustainable against no matter who you play. Running him 10, 12 times isn't sustainable, and I think he's hurt. But I don't think it's a good excuse to pull him, but I think you got him hurt. And that's something Marcus Freeman's got to deal with.
Appreciate the call very much.
Yep. You guys take care.
Thank you. Freeman has not been a good football coach. I mean, we've seen that from the very beginning, and that's what's coming to. And now, when you start doing this justification,
and when your playoffs are bust in this world, and Notre Dame is, now they probably shouldn't be, but if that's what you are, hey caller, who do we have?
Hey, it's Mark Columbus.
Hey Mark, what's up?
Notre Dame, look, Brady Quinn, what he means by Notre Dame guy is kids from the suburbs. That's what he likes. That's what he is. Brian Kelly kind of maxed that program out. Let's just be real.
Yeah.
With what their limitations are from a recruiting perspective. And Brady Quinn had a bunch of kids from the suburbs on his team, and they can go out and beat the service academies of the world. And he could look great throwing jump balls to Jeff Samardzija. And everybody likes Brady Quinn because he's the kind of guy you hope your daughter brings over for Christmas dinner. But when they went and played LSU and Alabama, they got their teeth kicked in.
Yeah, I covered their game.
The whole time he was there.
That was Quinn against Jamarcus Russell, right?
Yeah, I covered that game in New Orleans. That was an absolute ass kick.
Was that Jamarcus?
Biggest bet I've ever made on a football game. Biggest bet I've ever made on a football game. The LSU minus 8.5.
Ole Miss played them tougher than Notre Dame did because it went into overtime. Oh, I was at that game.
So
Seth Adams and Brent Schaefer.
Oh.
And Freeman, look, Luke Fickell's got to be kicking himself right now. Because the guy went and coached in a playoff that he had absolutely no chance of winning and passed on the Notre Dame job to go do that. And Marcus Freeman is what happens when you let the kids pick the coach. Period.
Oh, you never let the kids pick the coach. You never let the kids pick the coach.
And they did. And they did.
And yet it happens every year.
It happens all the time. It's an amateur mistake, and it always goes badly. Every time.
So I don't think he makes it. The first game he coached against Oklahoma State in that bowl game, he had the biggest deer eyes in the headlights you've ever seen. I said, this ain't going to go well. He's in way over his head. He'd only been a Power 5 coordinator, if you count Notre Dame as Power 5, for 1 year, and he gets the Notre Dame job.
So Lane Kiffin, the Notre Dame, is that what you're saying?
Insane. And no,
I'm kidding.
I'm kidding.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
So as you can tell, I'm a little more upbeat right now.
You think?
Yeah.
The Tennessee NC State game was the first college football game I watched all year. I watched 5 minutes of week 1, played golf week 2, got home about 7:00, and that's the best Tennessee team I've seen since 2006. I know it's 1 game sample size and it's spread for the moment.
I'm with you. I'm all aboard.
Just like
there are 3 teams, Mark, that Neal is just taking until they don't cover games, and it's Ole Miss, Texas, and Tennessee.
Riding them.
Because Heupel doesn't take his foot off the gas. I mean, he's going to get scored 50 points.
He loves beating the hell out of bad teams, too. Like, that's why I think this Kent State minus 47 thing feels fine.
Me, Lane, Sark, and Heupel. We are just riding down the road full speed ahead until someone stops us. All right?
They're the three best offensive minds in the league. I mean, we'll see what the board does. I like to see a little more proof of what he can do in this league, but they're the 3 best offensive minds in the league.
That's why we're riding. That's why we're in the car together, Mark.
And they have 3 very talented quarterbacks.
It helps to have a good quarterback. I've heard that helps, and they're all 3 good.
And they're very similar to Ole Miss with the dominant defensive line. Because Rodney Garner can do one thing: he can recruit, develop, and build defensive lines.
I got 2 games on. I got 2 games on next week's schedule that I'm already really looking forward to. I'm really looking forward to them, and one is Tennessee, Oklahoma, because I don't know how Oklahoma stays on the field with the balls, even in Norman. And then I'm looking forward to Arkansas at Auburn because I just have a little feeling, and it might be a fun day.
And the original reason for my call is a lot of stuff on the board about Hugh, and I've got a take that's probably been mentioned 6,000 times, but I think deep down, Hugh is extremely insecure because he knows he doesn't warrant these gigs in terms of a CV. And I saw this. Now, look, Hugh's got way more football chops than Butch Jones, but it's very similar to Butch Jones. Insecure, constantly trying to find out what people are writing about him and saying about him. And he knows he doesn't really warrant these high-level, upper echelon SEC gigs, and he got them anyway, and he's deeply insecure deep down.
I don't know.
He likes to go play in the golf outing with Kirby and Nick. With Kirby and Nick, it makes him feel like he belongs. He likes to feel like he belongs with those guys, and he doesn't. The guy won 2 games a decade ago, and his whole rep's based on that. And I'm interested in Hugh because in 2020, there were people in Knoxville clamoring to hire that guy, and Hugh was telling people at Liberty he was getting the Tennessee job, and I was losing my mind because I've heard all the stories from you guys and the board. And so I'm deeply invested in listening to Jeffrey take a dump all over him every week. It's the highlight of my week.
I think it's the highlight of his too. So yeah, that's good. All right.
But thank you, buddy.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Mark.
Mark.
See you.
Shit, bud.
Oh, I think the balls are real. I've been telling you that. I've watched them a couple of times.
They don't even seem to have some of the flaws I kind of thought they did. They've been better than in those areas,
Well,
even.
when you're great at quarterback and great on the defensive line, and they are, it gives you a shot. Hey, who do we have? Hey, caller. Hey, caller. Yeah, people are calling and they're on their device, and the delay is killing them.
Because you're hearing the movement.
Yep.
Boxford Beagle says, what channel is the game on in Algoma? I'm a little worried that some of the networks are not going to be carrying their CW thing, and we're going to have that hell going on all day Saturday. But most places they are carrying it.
Yeah.
It's a Memphis affiliate, I think, for all of us. Just kind of like your network channels.
Yeah, there are going to be people,
I checked mine earlier and I have it.
there are going to be people who are losing their minds. And there's not a lot you can do about it. Hey, who do we have? Hey, caller, you're on.
Hello?
Yep, you're on.
Hey, guys, it's Bob.
Hey, Bob, what's up, man?
Are y'all on a delay or something? I
No,
just tried calling before.
Yeah, you're on the delay. You're 15, 20 seconds behind us. So,
Okay,
so you got to
sense.
get off the device. You got to just pretend that you're just talking to us on the phone.
Okay, all right. How are y'all?
Good. How are you?
We're good.
I'm doing good. Didn't get soaked the past 2 days, which is nice. Granted, my backyard is now a swamp, but other than that, I'm doing good.
So just some wind damage over there, or the flood, or what?
More actually my hometown of Picayune than Bay St. Louis. Like, my mom texted me this morning and was like, hey, Saturday, I'm going to need you to come over and help me with this. I was like, oh, okay. I didn't lose power. Our air conditioning did go out, though, so that's fun.
That's why you should call Comer Heating and Air, Southern Air Conditioning and Heating, and they'll take care of you.
Are they gonna make a house call to the coast?
You never know.
It's worth a call.
It's worth a call.
Know till you ask.
Okay. I don't know about all that. Yeah, it's currently 80 degrees in the house, so
Oof.
I'm just hanging out, grilling right now.
Yeah, that's hot.
You're getting close to hotel room situation north.
For sure.
Well, it did this 2 years ago in the middle of July. It might have been it was when Ole Miss was in the World Series. Because I remember I watched one of the games they played Arkansas, Yeah, it was about 90 degrees in the house, and I just kept the doors open because I didn't want to pay for a hotel room that night. But yeah, this has happened before. It's not fun. But Chase, I will have you know, I was at the Saints game Sunday. This might be the pessimist in me, but I feel like that was all fool's gold and had nothing to do with the Saints being better. I just think Carolina's that bad.
Derek Carr only threw for 200 yards. That's the biggest negative. And the Panthers are not really an NFL team. That's also a problem. So no, I'm not making any sweeping judgments out of that game, because this is the thing. The Saints fan base was dead last on that hope meter, but it's not that they are the worst team in the league. It's the fact that they are completely mediocre. And you can be completely mediocre and still beat the hell out of the Panthers at home. Yeah. So, like, that's the 100%. Thing is it really told us nothing. Now, look, they'll play the Cowboys and they'll strap it up and we'll see what happens on Sunday. But as of now, no, nothing about my mood or my day changed with that result.
I mean, honestly, the one takeaway from, like, seeing that game live to me was like, my God, if Bryce Young – he's not good. I know they're a bad franchise and he has no help. I get it. But they were talking about this guy being just this generational, like, obviously he went first pick in the first round, but he looks like he is out of his element. Like, I don't know. If you're a Panthers fan and the rumor, I don't know if this is true or not. The rumor I read was, some people in that franchise wanted to take C.J. Stroud, and they got overruled. That sucks. I feel really bad for
that is
fans.
Correct, by the way. That is correct.
Ooh.
Is it?
Yes, it is.
Wow.
It is 100% correct.
Oh, good block.
Who overruled it? Was it like the GM or the owner?
The owner.
Oh God, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, he's probably not that popular then. Because you're over here looking at the Texans like, oh, my God.
No,
all we had to do was get them an offensive line.
Their football people wanted Stroud.
Ben Bell looks like a football player at Texas State.
He does. He looks angry.
Speaking of football in the state of Louisiana, I know everyone's been piling on Auburn, and deservingly so this week, but I've been hanging out with a significant amount of LSU fans the past 2 weekends. I'm not saying the seat's even warm, but I'm telling y'all, they're starting to get tired of Brian Kelly.
They are, but his seat's nowhere close to even. It's not even tepid yet. He's going to get more time just because of the financial commitment and what they've committed to it. He is going to absolutely get more time.
They need it to work.
Yes, they will.
They do.
That will have to dramatically fail before anybody pulls the plug, and they're nowhere close to that yet.
He would have to go 8-4 and then do it again next year, probably. Before.
Well, here's the thing about the SEC guys is that somebody's going to have to go 8-4. I mean, everybody can't go 10-2. It doesn't. The math doesn't work. So, I mean, everybody. If everybody's playoffs are bust, there's going to be a lot of problems. I mean, not everybody's going to make it. I mean, I get where LSU's coming from, and LSU has these expectations, but people make fun of Moscona.
They should be in the playoffs every other year.
Well, people make fun of Moscona, but Moscona's the one that God tried to tell them that if you follow the current format, LSU would have made the playoffs twice in the last, I think it was 11, 12 years. Twice. They would have made it twice.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a good program. It's a really good program. It's a really good program in a really good league, but not everybody's going to make it. Some of these teams are going to, quote, fail, end quote. 9-3 constitutes failure in today's SEC when you're trying to make the playoff, and do the math. These teams are playing each other. Teams are going to lose games.
I mean, I think they're going to beat South Carolina, and they'll figure it out. They're going to take a couple more losses, maybe 3, but it's just, I'm telling you, this fan base down here, Saban won that title. I can't remember what year it was. Was it like 03, 04?
He won in
03.
They beat Eli. And then they brought Les Miles in, and he won a natty. And then sure enough, when they hired Orgeron, I was the dumbass who I just talked shit 24/7 because I was like, he's going to be a disaster. And at first it looked like it was going to be, and then I'm still pissed. They got to have just arguably the greatest season of all time.
Joe Burrow fell into their lap, but they got him. I mean, the truth is, look, he assembled, however he did it, doesn't matter. He assembled an elite team, and he had everything kind of went their way. They had great coordinator, had a great season, and it's arguably the best college football team that's ever played.
It's not better than Miami, but I agree. Yes, the Miami 01 team. I still think they would lose to them, but. No, but that's to my point. They think if you get hired as LSU's head football coach, you're going to win a national championship in the first 5 or so years. And look, I don't know what their whole NIL situation is. I'm sure they have a ridiculous amount of money, and they're still the mainstay in Louisiana. They're in a very talented state, and they're going to be able to sign just about any kid out of that state they want. But, I mean, they ran for less than 100 yards against Nicholls State.
I agree. I mean, I agree with you. I feel like I'm 1 or 2 weeks away from fully. I just can't get there yet. I mean, because Nussmeier gets hurt. He comes back. Made it a little sluggish. They probably were smarting a little off that loss from last week. It crippled them in a way.
Yeah,
they had a bloody nose.
I want to watch them Saturday before I do anything. I remain completely open-minded as it pertains to LSU.
And even then, does South Carolina kind of suck? I don't know. I mean, It's just going to be a time.
But
thing.
I'd like to watch the game Saturday before I go. Any hot take one way or the other.
Yeah.
I kind of think South Carolina and Kentucky are just both very average or bad football teams, and one showed up last Saturday and the other one didn't. But
I mean, could be.
Right, well, I appreciate y'all taking the call, guys.
Thanks, Bobbin.
Thanks, Bob.
Okay.
I'm going to start winding it down here soon. I've got to drive in a minute, so.
Oh yeah, forgot that. Yeah. By the way, the Mountain West Conference, we talked about them. Do you know their championship game is sponsored by Old Trapper Beef Jerky? That kind of fits, doesn't it?
It does fit. There you go. See? Know who you are.
We're excited to welcome Old Trapper as the title sponsor, an official beef jerky of the conference. This iconic beef jerky is a perfect partner who aligns with the innovative spirit of the American West.
You know, the people at Old Trapper are like, son of a bitch. Hey, who do we have? I don't know. Maybe it's my iPad. I don't know.
I don't know.
There's probably a better call screening thing.
I'm sure.
I don't know what it is. Hey, who do we have?
Yo, it's Grind.
What's up, Grind? How are you?
I'm hanging in there, man. I'm freaking hanging in there, guy. The message board meltdown consultant was stuck in Auburn this weekend, and it was not fun, man. It was not fun.
The Auburn message boards weren't fun?
Dude.
I mean, he only grind. Listen, you guys, I'm gonna try to help you here. You guys are gonna have to start taking some responsibility. He only had one bad play call the whole game. I mean, everything it's on everybody else. I mean, it's on the fans, it's on the boosters, it's on the players.
Peyton Thorne looks great in practice, Grind. He just screws Hugh in the game. That's the problem.
You're doing Bottiget at the wrong time, and this thing is a disaster. But listen, all
Mama Goldberg sandwiches aren't as steamed as they used to be. We just got problems.
All that the head coach can do is to put the team in position to go win. Then they got to go do it. I mean, I don't know if you ever heard, but you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. And Hugh Freeze is leading the Auburn horse right to the edge of the stream, and you guys, for whatever reason, refuse to drink. It's on you,
man.
It's on you.
Especially after hearing, because I didn't even know the whole, your whole situation with Hugh and everything, man. My whole thesis so far on Hugh, especially with this season so far, maybe he changes the thesis, but I doubt it. In a season that was very critical to his coaching career, the one thing he needed his team to portray, it's a trait that he does not have, which is decency. He just needed a decent team. Put a decent team on the field. But expecting a decent team from a person that doesn't seem to be a decent person is just, I guess, not going to happen.
I mean, I won't say that he's not decent. Here's what I will say about him. I will say that he has a track record of having a very difficult time truly accepting responsibility. And
pride and ego.
And when you can't accept responsibility, it makes it very difficult to fix things and for history not to repeat itself. And I
agree, but I mean, like I said, I don't need to know the true ins and outs of what he did and whatnot. But I mean, when you start bringing up your daughters and whatnot,
he didn't
from man to man. It seems like a real out of pocket thing.
Well, let me be clear here. He didn't do anything directly to them. What he did was he told people that it was me in Chicago asking questions that led to the NCAA reopening the case against Ole Miss, which was a complete lie. And Hugh knew it was a lie. And those actions, because Hugh had just come off of a Sugar Bowl. And at the time, and you probably don't know this, Grime, but for the longest time, like you could drive around Oxford or Ole Miss or go into someone's home who was an Ole Miss fan, and you would see this poster of, the Iwo Jima poster where they're raising the flag.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a takeoff on that of Ole Miss football players raising an Ole Miss flag on the top of the Superdome, and it said, "We shall return." So getting back to the Sugar Bowl was this iconic, epic moment, okay? And so he had just come off that, and they kicked Oklahoma State's ass that night in New Orleans, and he had it going. And that NCAA thing was derailing him, and he was really nervous about it, and they thought they'd gotten through it. Then the Tunsil thing happened. They didn't get through it, clearly. And he, instead of going, you know what, we haven't managed, and a lot of the Tunsil thing was his fault. It was when Laramie had the situation with his mom and the stepdad, and there was an altercation at the house over agents, which was Hugh's fault. Because Laramie kind of had an agent, and Hugh was trying to steer Laramie to another agent. And when the altercation happened, Hugh put out a statement that essentially called Lindsey Miller a wife beater. Now, was Lindsey Miller a wife beater? I have no idea. I wasn't there. Hugh wasn't there. I don't know whether somebody was abused or not abused. I can't speak.
But when they got the goods on you, we probably shouldn't piss them off like that.
But it pissed off.
Is this what we hired, bro?
Yeah, it pissed off Lindsey Miller, and so Lindsey Miller
blabbed,
got his revenge,
gave hours and hours and hours of testimony to the NCAA while sitting at a McDonald's,
opened up his bank account,
showed them the transactions,
gave them the goods, so they had him. And so when people do there was this witch hunt, you're like, you probably know where I'm going, Chase. This is a Neal McCreadyism, so forgive me. Two things can be true at once. Yes, it was a witch hunt. Why was it a witch hunt? Well, it was a witch hunt because when they came down to talk to Hugh Freeze the very first time, he threatened the guy. It became personal. So, yeah, it was a witch hunt, but it was his fault. And so it kind of goes, it's all over the place. And so when that happened, he couldn't accept blame, so he blamed other people. And I was one of the people that he blamed, and people believed it. And I'm an easy target because I cover a fan site, and I'm not a fan and all that stuff. And it just got nasty. It just got nasty. It got nasty for a long time. I didn't know how much it had affected. I didn't know how much it had affected one of my children until she told me 3 years later. So,
wow.
I mean, look, I'd be pleasant with the guy if we interacted with each other, but I'm not surprised that he threw Peyton Thorne and everybody under the bus because that's just kind of who he is. And here's the crazy part. I don't think in the midst of doing it, he even realized I don't think in his world that's throwing him under the bus. Yeah. And there's a chance that in his mind, he only missed one call the whole game. But that's not what you say publicly.
I mean, it's just so many problems going on with all. Right now, I'm pissed off. I mean, JG is gonna have to do something with Brian Stokes because he went on there talking, basically blaming fans, talking about fans got to make more noise on Thursday. And I'm like, dude, it's already not a good look. You were talking about you and Hugh Freeze are buddies in the preseason and whatnot, and now you blaming fans.
Yeah.
Like, JG set him straight, a little bit, but. And I mean, look, and to JG's credit, he said if Peyton Thorne starts and completes this game, he's going to write a column that he can't come back from. Which I'm like, okay, that's and I told you guys, you said what's the situation where it gets sticky for Hugh Freeze, and here's the thing, man, you brought in this guy, Peyton Thorne, that in hindsight he has won you 0 games that you would have won without him, which is the number one problem.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that is the biggest problem. And if that is the case, you could have won. The thing about it is the guy that they're talking about going to, Hank Brown, who's a redshirt freshman, you brought him in December and went and got Peyton Thorne in the months later after him. So if this whole thing, goes down to where, hey, this Hank Brown kid actually, plays a little bit better than Peyton Thorne. Dude, you could have just, took your lumps with this kid last season if that was the case, or you could have started the season off with this kid, because it's gotten to the point now with Peyton Thorne. If he's not even Peyton Thorne, it should have been in Hugh Freeze's minds to where if Peyton Thorne is not at least 2 games better than the backup, I can't play him, because what's the point? If we're building for the future and I can show the recruits, hey, look, I'm playing young guys. That's what I'm doing. I'm playing young guys, that are talented. So if you want to come here and be talented and you're talented, you're going to play. Because, that would have been the message, and it would have been easier received. And if, let's just say, your guy, he goes out there and has the same game Peyton Thorne has, you can blame it on you. You can kind of say, hey, look, man, it was his first game. We're young. This was not what we expected. But when a 5th-year senior has that game, that you can throw him under the bus all you want to, but dude, that's on you, man. That's like dating the same woman for 5 years, expecting her to come, you gonna come home and think that she's not gonna bring up the fact that you ain't, doing this or doing that. That's on you, dude.
And he used to have that in his playbook. I mean, one of the famous things was after the dang Egg Bowl, and he's looking at the recruits and going, "We just need a little help. We're so close. We're right there." Whatever the quote was. I mean, back in the day, that was sort of his MO. That was what he had, and.
But even the speech that is his most famous speech as the Ole Miss coach, he didn't write it.
Oh, we've talked about that. He executed it.
Didn't write it.
I mean, that's like, that's this. I don't even like. The only thing I care about this week is how many reps does the backup quarterback get. Because if I don't even care if Peyton Thorne has a great game, I don't give a damn. Because if Peyton Thorne plays the whole game and and lights it up, I'm waiting on JG to send that column on through. That's what I'm waiting on. If not, then I'm done. I'm out. I don't give a damn. I'm done. 100%, because it makes no sense. All you have to do is just show some type of proof of concept and stick to the plan. And when I talked about this plan, I didn't even have a lost the cow in the damn book. I didn't even. This wasn't even in the manual. I wasn't even flipping through the books looking at a lost the cow. But if you would have told me, if he would have said, hey, look, we're starting Hank Brown because Peyton Thorne's just not getting it and it's close, you could have kind of geared fans up to like, okay, look, he's saying Peyton Thorne's not getting it and he's close, but he's going with the young guy. So this may not be the best quarterback play that we're expecting. But no, you came out here and hyped up Peyton Thorne, and I bet if you gave him true song, which would be a big disgrace to Bo Wallace, I bet he was looking for Peyton Thorne to make some type of Bo Wallace jump, which is just so disrespectful to Bo Wallace. So disrespectful to that kid.
Don't think, yeah.
Bo
say, I mean, I wrote a column 10 years ago saying Bo might be the most important recruit in the school's history at the time. I
mean, as of right now, his job security. I mean, he kind of lets his job to Peyton Thorne, which is crazy. And just to give you guys a little, review from last week, the reason why I put 33% as the number is because that's the break-even number when you bet alternative lines. Because if you bet lines that are plus 200, you walk in with $3. If you lose 2, win 1, you're gonna walk back out with $3. So that's why, you know, the 33% is not just an arbitrary number; it's the actual, you know, important number. And y'all went 3 of 10 last week. McNeese covered the 43.5. You know, like I said, Florida went under and Vandy covered. And
All right.
so,
If we'd stuck with our Arkansas, Oklahoma State over, we'd have gotten it, right?
Yep, you would have got it.
Yep.
And the interesting thing from last week, how about this? If you would have parlayed McNeese for you know, 40 at plus 43.5, if you would have parlayed that with Tennessee Tech plus 46.5, which was the alternate line for Georgia, and McNeese plus 41.5, which was the alternate line for LSU, $25 would have, you know, returned $1,077.
Oh,
which is crazy. I mean, and the only reason Tennessee Tech covered was because the coach decided to kick a field goal on 4th down when it was like 3 seconds left. That is the only reason they covered that alternate line.
Oh, wow.
46.5. Yeah, the score is 48-0. So yeah, and last week, you know, just in case if you guys think that a lot of these you know, things don't happen, you only had one game last week where alternate line of any option didn't hit, and that was Arizona State and Mississippi State.
Oh, okay. So there are a couple,
Yep.
but not many. All right. That's interesting.
Yeah. Out of last week, you had out of 13 games, at least one hit, one pushed, which was Bama, South Florida under 58. So that pushed, and then Mississippi State, Arizona State had nothing hit.
Okay.
interesting. All right, Grob. Appreciate the call, man.
So, no problem, man. You guys have a good one.
You too, bud.
Take care.
Thanks.
All right, bye.
All right, we're gonna wrap it up there. We've been almost 2 hours, and I need to get.
You didn't want to break down the 2025 baseball schedule before we got off?
I wanted to, but we didn't quite get there, and
Okay.
I know that you're probably desperate to dive into
Put
that.
the notes up. Fine. All right.
I know. I know.
Last thing, Texas State should say Bobcats on their helmet. Them just saying cats, like their brand feels Bobcatty. Like,
Yeah.
I don't like that.
All right, you're gonna have to go super fast because I've got to get out of here. Go ahead, caller. Yeah, it
It's hanging. I don't know.
It has something to do with when it's on that screen.
Yeah,
So
we'll figure it out.
yeah. All right. Thanks again to our friends at Comer Heating and Air, Southern Air Conditioning and Heating for sponsoring this. Really appreciate it. They do it each and every week. We'll be back with you for this particular show next Thursday. Chase has another podcast coming your way tomorrow, and then
Just kill it. It's fine.
Another podcast coming tomorrow, and then we'll have post-game, pre-game, during game show.
In-game show.
In-game show. I'm so used to saying post-game
Watch
show.
along, if you
A
will.
watch-along, including some post-game on Saturday, Ole Miss and Wake Forest in Winston-Salem. I'm heading that way, so I'll join from Winston-Salem, and Tyler and Jeffrey and Brian,
We'll
and the
have a
whole
day.
gang. We'll have a day. So that'll be on MPW Digital. Post all those details at Rebel Grove, on X, everywhere else. So have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you soon.